In with breaking news out of New York. Good afternoon. I'm Leanne Denyer.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. Thanks for joining us. Police have reportedly shot and killed one of the escaped prisoners and are currently chasing the other in the story that we've been following for the last few weeks. Richard Matt was killed, and police are on the hunt for David Sweat near the Canadian border. Both have been on the run for more than 2 weeks after escaping from a New York prison. In that time, more than 1,100 law enforcement officials have joined the search for the two men. We'll continue to update this story when more information becomes available. Now to our other top story of the day. The Supreme Court handed down a landmark decision for same-sex marriage in the United States.
The court ruled all 50 states must legalize and recognize same-sex couples who decide to tie the knot. President Obama applauded the court's decision, saying it makes America a better country.
There's so much more work to be done to extend the full promise of America to every American. But today we can say, in no uncertain terms, that we've made our union a little more perfect.
The decision was 5-4 with Chief Justice John Roberts leading the dissenting opinion. Local couples didn't waste any time following the Supreme Court's ruling on same-sex marriage. Boone County began issuing marriage licenses and performing ceremonies to same-sex couples shortly after that decision.
KOMU-8's Jacob Jones was in the courtroom for Boone County's first same-sex wedding. He's here in the studio with us to tell us what happened today.
The Boone County recorder same-sex couples to get married.
While Boone County quickly began issuing same-sex marriage licenses, other Missouri counties have not. A Missouri civil rights attorney says the legal definition of marriage has changed in the state, so Boone County did exactly what it should in issuing licenses today.
They were acting under the law under the law of the land. The law of the land is now settled. This is it. You may not like it, but that's the law.
One organization dedicated to promoting the Bible and Christianity has a different view. Joe Ortworth of the Missouri Family Policy released a statement saying, quote, "This disgraceful decision is the latest, most evident sign of the moral bankruptcy of the U.S. government, the moral corruption of its leaders, the vile decadence of American culture and society, and the growing godlessness of the American people. May our nation somehow survive this lethal attack on the American family."
Governor Nixon vetoed a long-debated education bill today. House Bill 42 was originally intended to improve school district accreditation and tackle some of the challenges confronting districts in the school transfer process. But the governor said the bill would require taxpayers to pay for vouchers without accountability for student performance and would actually fail to put a limit on the amount of tuition a district receiving a transfer student could charge.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol says a 24-year-old woman died this morning after losing control of her car in Montgomery County. It happened at Route J and Highway 19 south of New Florence. Jennifer Wolf of Columbia died when her Nissan Sentra flipped and collided with a tow truck across the center line. Troopers say the roads were wet, causing Wolf to lose control of her car. The driver of the tow truck was not hurt. Wolf was wearing a seatbelt. Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers shot a suspect last night after a pursuit along I-70 and Highway 54. That's according to the Missouri State Highway Patrol. The pursuit started shortly after 10:30 with an attempted traffic stop on I-70 eastbound. The suspect took off and slowed down long enough for one person to jump out. That person was arrested after a brief pursuit. Then the chase continued onto Highway 54 into Fulton before ending on Dawson Street. A preliminary investigation revealed the suspect had a weapon, and during the foot pursuit, the trooper shot his gun, hitting the suspect. The suspect was taken to University Hospital for treatment.
UM President Tim Wolf announced he supports a program aimed at making college tuition more affordable for certain students. The UM Board of Curators discussed the Missouri Promise program at meetings today. That program would help graduating Missouri seniors with a 3.0 GPA or higher with tuition. The goal is to keep students in state. A UM spokesperson says about 40 to 45% of seniors do not attend school in state. He also says the Missouri Promise program could go to voters sometime next year.
Other states have concepts that are similar to this, and we think that the state of Missouri, this is something that would greatly benefit the state, not only our students in our universities, but certainly the economy of the state of Missouri.
The Missouri State Treasurer has not announced any source of funding for Missouri Promise yet.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol has 32 new faces as of this morning. People filed into the field house at Helias High School to witness the graduation of Missouri State Highway Patrol's 100th recruiting class. The class of 32 graduated after completing 25 weeks of training to become Missouri State Troopers. 45 recruits began the course in January. Captain John Holt says the training is very demanding.
It's a very challenging time, so each and every one of them is very proud. Now they are moving from the recruit phase into now they are becoming members of the Missouri State Highway Patrol, and they are very excited about that, about joining the organization and the traditions that we've had for 84 years now.
28 of the graduates are from Missouri. To see all of their names and hometowns, visit our website at KOMU.com.
An emotional funeral service today for a South Carolina leader, and a wildfire continues to burn in Idaho. KOMU 8's Tom Barclay has your First Nation report.
Thousands filled at Charleston Arena to pay their respects to the pastor killed in last week's shooting massacre. One by one, ministers, friends, and community leaders delivered heartfelt tributes to Clinton Pinckney, who is also a state senator. President Obama attended the funeral as well and delivered the eulogy.
To the families of the fallen, the nation shares in your grief. Our pain cuts that much deeper because it happened in a church.
President Obama ended the eulogy by leading the church in a rendition of the popular hymn, Amazing Grace. And a wildfire in Idaho has grown to 10,000 acres. It's been burning since yesterday and started in the western part of the state. Officials believed a bird nesting on a power line started the fire. More than a dozen structures are threatened, but no fire damage has been reported. And that's your first look around the nation. Now here's a look at what's happening around the world.
At least one gunman opened fire on a Tunisian beachside hotel that killed at least 27 people, including multiple tourists. A security source at the scene said one of the gunmen was killed after a shootout with police. It was the second major attack in the North African country this year and took place during the holy Muslim month of Ramadan.
At least 10 people are dead after an ISIS suicide attack on a mosque in Kuwait today. The governor of Kuwait City said the bombers set off the explosion during prayers at a Shiite Muslim mosque. On Tuesday, ISIS urged its followers to step up attacks on Christians, Shiites, and any Sunni Muslims allied with U.S. forces during the holy Muslim month of Ramadan. Well, it has been a busy week weather-wise. First, scorching hot temperatures, and then all the heavy rain and severe storms. So let's send it over to Tori for a look at our weekend weather.
Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, we've still got a few coming up in just a little bit.
Trans fat is on the way out, so what should you do when it's gone?
And a new study points to a new surprising cause for acne. Right now, you're taking a live look over Columbia. See some raindrops on the camera out there. It's 5:09, and this is KOMU 8 News First at 5, coverage you can count on.